Hello, welcome to day 2 of my series for healing whiplash and increasing neck mobility. Today I'm going to be working on the lovely Mia. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so since this is day 2, I don't have to be quite as careful, but I am going to go in nice and gently. So I'm actually just going to place my hands on these shoulders and up until around massage 4 or 5, I'm still just, the goal is to encourage this nervous system to relax and to do what I can to help relieve inflammation. And honestly, it's just kind of when the body is ready, that swelling is going to go down. But stress, increased stress when the fight or flight response is kind of stuck in fight mode, it's really hard for that inflammation to go down. So just, this lighter work is really effective tool for healing. And just encouraging these shoulders to relax and these shoulder joints to be nice and supple and moving freely as possible. And I'm gonna grab my oil, and I am gonna start with just some moderate pressure. So I'm actually gonna land on these pectoral muscles and using a little bit more oil today, just because I want a really nice fluid glide across the muscle fiber. I don't need to be doing a lot of trigger point today, so I just want to be moving pretty smoothly over everything. And with that said, you don't need to drench your client in oil either. And I like to just incorporate some arm, just to encourage these shoulders to relax even further. And the ultimate goal is to encourage that upper trap to just let go of trying to protect everybody. So I'm guessing at around day 6 or so, we'll land on that upper trap and it should be about ready. So right now I'm just doing kind of what I can to indirectly encourage that trap to relax. And a really great way that you can do that is to work on the pectorals. Just open some of this up a little bit. And nothing fancy here. I am definitely feeling some trigger points, but because this is only day 2, I'm not going to do trigger point work. I'm not going to do anything too intense. But this is a little different from day 1 in that I am focused on reaching deeper layers of tissue, but I'm not going super deep. Just as the muscle fiber is ready and inviting me in, then I'll go ahead and go a little bit deeper. And the pectoral muscles are pretty responsive. So when I'm working on someone that's had whiplash, the upper trap is usually really guarded and you can hardly access it, but the pectorals are a really decent place to start with incorporating a little more pressure. And it's also good to just get your client kind of used to the sensation of going a little bit deeper before you hit the spots that feel really vulnerable, like the upper trap and the SEM are kind of the 2 muscles that I think of immediately when somebody comes in with whiplash. And they're just going to be on, overdrive. So kind of take my time with those muscles. And I am going to go ahead and start working on the neck a little bit. And just as I do these effleurage strokes into the neck, I am including the arms, including the shoulders. Not just because it feels good, but it helps the upper trap to relax, hopefully, as these shoulders let go and let go of trying to protect themselves. And just lots of effleurage strokes in between that more moderate, that more medium type pressure, just some relaxing, long effleurage strokes to just get everything moving. But you don't want to do this like too much or in a mindless way. So I am going to start working on that upper trap, just kind of checking in. And it's nearly impossible to do deeper work on the trap in this position anyway. So this is just a really great way to kind of start bringing attention to that upper back area as that muscle kind of narrows into the neck. So I'm just offering just a soft, firm touch. And the upper trap is not exposed at all. And this is just a position where it can kind of just do what it does, and I'm not asking much of it. And I am going to go ahead and just start feeling around the SEM, and that is an area that 10 times out of 10 is going to be inflamed when you're dealing with someone that has whiplash. So just technically this is an effleurage stroke, and sometimes I'll just slow it way down and kind of do this compressive type effleurage stroke. The SEM is in a position where it's really not that exposed, and so I'm not turning the neck at all. So if there's mobility issues, we don't have to worry about that right now. And I'm actually going to start just using my finger pads a little bit more and just incorporating like slightly more pressure just to see how things are responding. This is an impossible position to do deep tissue on the SEM, but it's a great like day 2 position to just start kind of making nice with that muscle. And just after that brief encounter with the SEM, I'm going to land on the mastoid process. And this is an area that I'll usually spend a lot of time on. Massage, second massage, day 2, whatever you want to call it. Starting to get more detailed in my focus. Really wanting this attachment site at least to feel safe. So where the SEM attaches, just offering a nice firm pressure around this attachment site, and hopefully this will communicate to the SEM that it's safe to just let go, and it doesn't need to be in protective mode all the time. And I'm going to go ahead and focus quite a bit more on these suboccipitals, so working below the hairline And this is another area where 10 times out of 10 there's going to be swelling, but just offering a lighter touch to start. And if you can get the suboccipitals to just trust you and let go, you're going to have more success when you start attempting deeper work on the SAM. I'm just being really patient, just doing compressive circles in this area. I'm not using a light touch exactly, but it's certainly not what I would call deep tissue at all. It's pretty far from that. And it's good to, people with whiplash, most people, unless they have a background in, some type of medical field or whatever, they don't have a whole lot of information. All they know is that they don't feel good. So it's really, good if you can just share what you're finding and why you're doing what you're doing without being annoying and talking too much. And if I were to try and do this kind of work with floating arms, it would be really hard. So I always make sure that my arms are just resting on the table when I'm doing this kind of work. And it's also good to just kind of stay on pace. You don't want to linger too long. So right now, what I want to do, I want to see what Mia's mobility is like in her neck. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of rotate just slightly. And you can immediately tell if they're in pain. They're either going to tell you, or usually the shoulders will lift. So I like to just start by degree to kind of turn the neck a little bit. So I am going to just keep the head turned. And even this very subtle turn of the head, it exposes that SAM just a little bit more. So I'm going to treat the neck as a unit. I'm not going to work super detailed in the SAM or any of the other neck muscles, but I'm just going to do a broader effleurage stroke landing on the suboccipitals and really encouraging that synovial joint in the shoulder to just be really fluid and not kind of grip. So landing on that upper trap and just all the way into across those suboccipitals above the hairline. And just using a really broad surface area to start really pretty gently working on the neck. And just making sure that Mia's head is supported as I do this so that she doesn't feel like she has to grip at all in her neck. That's really important. And I'm going to just land on that mastoid process one more time. And I'm going to go ahead and just see, usually people that have whiplash, you can actually pretty easily see the SAM. And so I'm just kind of seeing, okay, how is it responding to the head being turned and me working a little bit deeper? Is it fighting me, or it's doing really well? So how this massage goes is going to make a really big difference in day 3. And more than likely, we'll be ready to start working in greater detail. We're not going to do deep tissue yet, but getting closer. And deep tissue is not the ultimate goal. Sometimes people don't even need it. Just kind of depends. And I'm going to just end with some longer effleurage strokes. If I were spending any more time here, I would grab more oil just so I have a nice glide over the skin, but we're wrapping up here. And always, always, when you're turning the head, just do it really slow. You don't want to aggravate the neck at all. And I'm gonna just end with something for both sides just because it kind of ties everything together a little better. And that is it for day 2. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to check out day 3 of this series. If you did enjoy this video, you should check out our Patreon page where you'll find some really great content as well. We look forward to seeing you there.
Join us for 14 and 30-day programs, hour-long classes, and much more on our yoga app, Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth. It's free to download and features a variety of wellness content, including yoga, fitness, Pilates, guided meditations, and interviews with dozens of wellness experts.